Welcome to the channel. I'm Stacy, and my goal here is to help you to play better and sound better in your worship services. Today I'm going to walk you through my recording setup. This is how I record cover videos as well as tone and pedal demos. And it's pretty simple. So when you get your HX Stomp or your Helix, and I'm going to guess probably any of the options like this, the Ampero, the Truetone, any of those, they're going to come with a USB cable. It's got a square end on one side that's going to go into your device. And then the other side, I just plug into the side of my laptop. I use a MacBook Pro. And so I just use GarageBand. It comes free with the computer. And it's a pretty simple setup. So when you plug in, then GarageBand is going to identify that as an input device. And I already had this set up, but I'll create a new track and just walk you through the setup on that as you go. So making a new track, I don't need to save this. Yep, empty. It's off screen, but it's line or mic or line audio. I hit create and then drag that over so it fits in the screen. All right, so this is how it's going to come up. The Stomp was already plugged in, so it identified it. I'm going to click monitoring, and then it's going to be, it activated that track. And then for input, it's showing it as mono with one ring. Click on that, and it's got the overlapping ring to represent stereo. And that's the same icon that's on the the stereo effects on the Stomp and Helix. If I'm going from HX Stomp to Helix, if I'm doing a preset dialing in a preset, and I unplug the HX Stomp, plug the Helix in, it'll activate that as the new input device, but it'll also change the Helix to the output device. So I'll need to come in here, and when you open it, I've done this a couple of times just getting ready for the video. It'll start off on general. You just go to audio MIDI, and then output device. It'll say Helix in here, as well as input when I plug the Helix in. So I just change that to speakers or headphones. If I'm dialing in a preset, I've got the headphones in. So, and real quick too, I'll just plug those in, and then we'll go back to that window and it'll show you. So now it's set to external headphones. And if I click on that, since it is plugged in, I can switch it back to the MacBook Pro speakers. If I leave it, then when I unplug them, then it'll automatically change. And then let's bring that over. The last selected audio interface is not available. Yep, I want you to change it. And then we're good to go. And we're all set up. All right, so that's how I record. This is going to be the same setup that I use for everything. Now, if I'm doing a cover video, I'll have a click track set up down here. I'll put the tempo at the right tempo. And then I'll put the audio track for the song in, and I'll put it at the right spot so the click track is in line with it and it comes in at the right time. And then I'll have the audio recording tracks set up, and I'll tend to run through a song, recording it like 8 to 10 times before I can finally get it without making a big mistake. And that way I can show that the song can be played in one run. There's a couple of them that are really long. And so that was a big challenge to be able to get through it without having any kind of a little hiccup on the hands. But anyway, so if I'm recording a piece of music, then I'll add drum tracks, and it's not hard to do. New track, especially in GarageBand. And like I said, for PC, they've got free DAWs available as well. And I'm going to guess that they're all fairly similar as far as what they can do. Click on drummer. And if I'm doing this as a project, I'll have 3 or 4 guitar tracks. I'll have a bass guitar track, but in audio form. So they're audio tracks. I'll record 3 or 4 guitars. I'll record a bass, and then just tweak the drummer for hours until it sounds and is hitting the way I want it to sound and hit, and go from there. Another thing that I do with this setup is when I'm getting ready to go over songs, I'll pull up GarageBand, get all these things set up exactly like this. I don't worry about the tempo, but then I open up my multi-tracks account. The church that I play with uses multi-tracks, and so I'm able to practice to, well, I use this to learn the songs. I'll practice them on Friday night, and then Saturday morning I use an app called, what's the app called? Oh man, ChartBuilder. So I'll use ChartBuilder. It doesn't work on the browser, so it's just an app for your device, either phones or pads. And then for that, I'm going to use a little box that I made that's similar to a Walrus canvas, not the canvas, the rehearsal. And I plug my my phone audio. I got a cable that comes out of that goes into that box. And then I have I use the TrueJoy Devices GI Steve line isolator. Great device. I don't know if they still make them, but if you find one available, it's phenomenal, and especially for the money. I think new they were right around $150. So I'm not sure where they'd be on the used market, but it's a great device. Hope they come back. But it has a headphone out with the volume control. And so I'm coming out of that into that box. And then the box also has volume controls, but I just kind of leave it where it's at and then adjust the volume from the phone and then from the volume control on that line isolator. But the cool thing about ChartBuilder is someone on our worship team puts the song in the arrangement that we're doing. So if we're adding anything or paring down, so if we got less bridges than what's on the recording, or for some reason we're going to do like half of one song, half of another song, they're able to build them out that way so that we can practice exactly the arrangement that we're doing, so that we get there on Sunday, we're not hit with surprises like, oh, this one's only going to have 2 bridges instead of 6 or 8 or whatever. So it helps us to be able to practice and prepare for the dynamics, for the transitions, and for all that stuff. So if your church isn't using ChartBuilder, I'm not getting paid to say that. I just find that to be a super useful tool and something that's been real helpful for me in getting ready for my services. All right, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, subscribe and hit that like button for good measure. If you need song resources, there are a handful of downloads in the description box below that will take you where you need to go. And there's a handful of downloads free for you in there as well. All right, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one.